Well, hello, and welcome to your We Believe in Freedom Monday night team call. We are so glad that you could join us tonight. So it's February the 17th, 2020. A little housekeeping, mute yourself. If you have questions, comments, want to chat, go down to the bottom of your Zoom page, and there's a little chat box. You can click on that. My name is Ariana Munker, and I am speaking to you from my filled with gratitude home in the Hollywoodland Hills of Los Angeles, California. So we all gather here. We gather once a week. We share victories. We inspire each other. And maybe we'll learn a thing or two, you know? Maybe we want to live a life that's like that we love, and that's totally on purpose. Well, it is my real honor to introduce to you the woman who has made these calls possible and continues to do that. By the way, she's an Isogenics Legacy Club member. She's 8-star platinum, 6-star crystal executive, but listen, she is on a mission to continue to transform people's lives with solutions for healthy lifestyles, financial breakthroughs, time freedom, pick one, pick all, whatever. But it's my honor to hand this call over to you, Kathy Helwig.
Well, thank you, Ariana. You're so kind. You know, I just love doing these calls. I love connecting with all of you, and I just thank you for taking the time out every Monday night to come on to this call. I am very grateful for you. And I want to start the call with a great announcement about this week. In honor of President's Day, Isogenics is giving free shipping for all of us as customers. And that goes through Wednesday. So be sure and place your orders if you want to take advantage of that free shipping. It needs to be a $150 order or more. And so it ends midnight Eastern on Wednesday night. So plan to do that. Well, and even bigger news is anybody that we enroll, new customers, gets free shipping all week long. So the deadline for that is Sunday, the 23rd of February. And if you're currently an ISA delivery member, you know, that's us who have, it's kind of like Prime Isogenics, and we've paid for the whole year to be able to get free shipping. We earn a $15 credit when we place an order, you know, between now and Wednesday. So let's take advantage. Free shipping, woo! And I want to remind everybody, you know, preferred customers now join with free enrollment. They don't pay an enrollment fee. And just to give you some clarity about that, you may have customers, or you may have enrolled sometime between January 24th, 2019 and January 24th, 2020, and paid an enrollment fee. Well, guess what? If you become an associate, that's when they are charging the $29 fee when you become an associate. But if you already paid that, you won't have to pay it. So that's just really good news. You know, there's no confusion about that anymore. All right. So you know, on last week's call, we talked about the importance of having a vision and creating a new identity that matches up to what we want to become, what goals we want to achieve, what health levels we want to have, what our bank account looks like. And we, you know, the daily disciplines and the focus that it takes when you create that vision in order to manifest that vision, right? So that's kind of what we've been talking about. Well, this week, we'll talk about how distractions can slow that process down. And I read a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. And some of you may have read that as well. I just think it's a great book. And I got the audio book because it's a storytelling type of book. And I just love it, listening to it that way. And what it does is it helps you to understand how we can unconsciously take ourselves off track to manifesting our dreams. And it's called self-deception. So let's break it down a little bit. And then we'll have a kind of a discussion about how that shows up and what we can do to get back into alignment. So I think of self-deception as knowing no, based on what I say that I want, knowing that I should do something, and then justifying why I'm not going to do it. Like knowing I should do something toward improving my relationships, toward improving my health, toward sticking to my budget, toward saving money for a big purchase, or saving money for retirement. So there's lots of things that, goals that we have. And there's lots of ways we can go into self-deception and kind of thwart the process. So let me give you an example. For me, a daily exercise routine is, one of my goals in order to stay healthy and fit. And it's a discipline that tends to happen only when nothing else gets in the way. Because I've never been one to, really stick to an exercise routine. And I justify, and I let a busy schedule, or I'm running late, or there's an unexpected phone call that sets me back, or I just don't feel like it, right? And I don't do the exercises that day. Well, that's what you call self-deception. Okay, that's just one example. And when we have a path that's based on our goals or our why, there are two ways that we can go on that path. So we can be in action and do the things that are required in order to reach that goal, right? Or we can go into self-deception and start to justify not doing that action. And we all do it. Is there anybody who doesn't do it? We all do it. And the thing is, it's the awareness that we're doing it that can put us back into alignment. And so this morning was a perfect example for me. I got up a little later than normal. And because of what I had, planned to do for the morning, it set me back in time. And I thought to myself, well, I just won't have time to do my exercises. And then I caught myself and I thought, no, that's self-deception. And I marched right into my exercise room and I did my exercises like I promised myself that I would. And, any other time up until I started realizing and understanding self-deception, I would have, it would have not even bothered me that I didn't do the exercises. But now it does. I really want to stick to that vision and that goal of having being a fit 67-year-old woman. So that's an example. And there's lots of ways that we can go into self-deception around our business. So let's take a look at how that might look. So who can give me an example of when you've gone down the path of justification and self-deception in your business? Who wants to share? We all do it, remember? Nero. Do I need to? Yeah, good. You got it.
I decided I will kind of do 10 signups. And so to do 10 signups, I need to at least do 25. I need to talk to 100 people. So that has, with the work, I'm still justifying. So to do 10 signups, to talk to 100 people, so I divided the time for a day, how many I had to talk. So there are days that I completely don't get it, but at least I have done 2. So I have made it 2, So it doesn't work that way. So I have to make sure that I'm very disciplined. Discipline is my, this year, 2 things that I want to work on. And then I keep working and keep working. It's quite hard. I'm still working. I don't think I can ever become 100% disciplined. So
Well,
it has, but sometimes it's demotivating. Sometimes it's motivating. Demotivating part is that, like, oh, I haven't done it. And when I'm thinking about I haven't done it, motivating part is that I haven't done it. I need to do it. Like, I'm aware that I need to do it. and go out next day, I had to do more work.
So what do you think is the thing that causes you to go into self-deception?
Mostly it's fear, I would say, mostly the fear. But talking to people, I don't have much fear. But I'm still thinking, I decided this year I'm going to talk to my gym class, yoga class, like I want to make it a platform to tell my story. And I want to take permission from the yoga teacher and the gym teacher and all the classes that I'm going to. So I want to go in front of them, and whether they come or not, tell every single day my story. So it's a hard job. Every day I'm thinking, today I will take permission. So my fear, thinking that teacher will not permit me to go in front of her class to give 5 minutes. But I have built a good relationship now with them, and one of them are already signed up. And then, so now I'm slowly getting there because her time only I'm taking. So I had to take 5 minutes from her time. So that's
yeah. So fear can be the thing that causes us to go into self-deception. I mean, yeah. I'm guilty. and so thank you for sharing that.
That's my pleasure.
Who else wants to share an example of how they go into self-deception around their business? Madeline.
What I have found is I've got a lot of things going on, and I can get so distracted by so many things happening. And now that Eddie is home working with me, he can distract me too. So I could just be going, okay, I'm over here. Yes, I'm doing this. Then I'm over here doing, oh no, I'm doing that. So it's really fascinating to kind of watch the brain, how it goes all over the place. And so I literally have to just kind of go ground myself and say, okay, what is the most important thing can I do right now to forward my business, and then just take that action. And so that's what I've been doing, is just keep grounding myself, like what's the most important thing, rather than being all over the place.
Yeah.
So that's what's been helping.
Awesome. And the awareness, just knowing that something is taking you and distracting you. So good.
Kathy, just adding on that too, because I go into self-deception almost with regularity. And I think what helps me pull myself back out is I have to keep remembering why I'm doing this. I have to stay because what I'm doing right now, and I know we all do this, I'm making a new identity. And my identity actually is like based on maybe 20 or 30 years ago. It's not a very fresh, not a very current way of looking at the potential in my life. And some of those things that Tony Robbins talks about, where we've already made decisions about things, because he says, well, what do you mean you're a smoker? Well, I'm going to try to quit, but I think of myself as a smoker. And you think to yourself, you are what you are right now. And that kind of mentality and thought, when you get present to that's that awareness you were talking about just now. When we get aware of what is running the conversation, what's the fear, what's the hesitation, what's the distraction. Like today, I think I was in the kitchen for an extra hour before coming up and doing the things that I promised myself my new identity wanted desperately to get done, right? But I had to remind myself, because my old identity would rather wash dishes. Huh? What's that about? Like, I really had a good laugh with Jay, because we were laughing about it. It's like, I could stay down here forever cleaning the tile. And I'm not a person that likes to clean. But I realized in that moment, because no other choice was there except what I was up to next, I really realized I was being so self-deceived. I was just justifying it. And when I got in touch again with my vision, I read my cards, I took a moment and was with myself. I got, oh, right. Yes, now I remembered again, but you have to keep reminding yourself. It's not a done deal yet.
So for those people who are maybe fairly new on this call, talk about those cards a little bit.
Okay, so the cards are starting to become my little rowboat in the big sea, you know. It's the place where I actually have some safety, some knowledge of what my future is going to be like. And boy, we have some people on this call that actually are experiencing active miracles. I mean, they seem like miracles, but they were on their cards and they're coming to life. These things are happening. And I am very much of a prove it to me kind of girl. Like, I'm not going to believe just because you told me. Except in this case, I have done my life all the way up till, I'm not going to say my age, Kelly, but all the way until up today. And I've lived my life the way I've lived it, and I have my results, because everything I've done is an example of where I'm at right here and now, and what I think of myself. And what I realized was, I get to create whatever my future looks like. I get to live in a new identity to match the cards. So go for the cards. The cards are vision casting about your family, about things that you love, about things you want to have, people that you want to make a difference to, projects you want to fulfill on. That's what these cards are about. And write whatever you want. Because if it comes from your heart, then you have some place to come to when you're downstairs deciding, I think I'd rather chlorinate, you know, this big container of fish water rather than go upstairs and take the next step, you know, towards the thing that I want to have as a new identity.
Yeah, and those cards, we want them to be as if it's already happened. So I'm so happy and grateful that, and then you follow it with what it is that you want in your life, right? So
I want to piggyback on what Ariana was saying as far as the identity. I think as a young person, as a young girl, my identity was like, oh, I had the cleanest room. I had, you know, very organized. And so I think now my self-deception is, you know, I'm ready to do whatever, make the call. Oh my gosh, it's like the laundry. I need to fix this one first, etc. So it's catching myself. And then the other identity that I have is like, oh, I'm a good multitasker. And sometimes it doesn't serve me because it's like, oh, you're supposed to be calling. And then, oh, no, actually, I need to do the taxes, or I need to, whatever, answer this call or email. So it should really be block and focus for me. So it's recreating my new identity that it doesn't have to be perfect or clean, and it's just really focusing on what's important.
yeah. Who has an example having to do with follow-up in our business?
Not following up or following up?
No, well, self-deception around following up.
Yeah. You know, I keep realizing, you know, the quotes that it takes, 5 to 7 or more times before somebody is ready to say yes. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, well, the guy I met on the airplane who was so excited, and he gave me information, but we didn't talk about what was the best way to communicate with him. So I didn't want to call him to interrupt his time with his girlfriend. So I texted him, but he hasn't texted back. So I attempted once. And that's not a very good level of follow-up, because he could be there waiting for the information that we talked about. And maybe texting isn't the best. Maybe a phone call would be better. So yeah, once or twice is not enough.
So what's your justification for not calling?
I'm not exactly sure.
Is it a fear?
I have this thing about, and you've heard it before, but imposing. And I don't know what that's all about. Because we connected so much on the airplane, and there was so much familiarity on all different levels, from personal to business. And I don't know if it was fear of the unknown, or I don't know. That's a good question, Kathy.
Hey, Daria, you already said it. I don't want to disturb him with his girlfriend. You already said it.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
That's your justification.
yeah. So darn, I'm gonna interrupt their dinner after this.
There you go.
Wouldn't want to do that.
But
Well, you know, whether you interrupt their dinner or not, if you get a message, leave a message, right? It's just, I mean, there are people I just enrolled somebody the last weekend who I've been talking to about this for 2 years. 2 years. And I didn't stop. Okay, so follow-up is key. So, Bree, you shared something this morning that I wanted to see if you could share with the group, having to do with emotion.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Who has seen the movie Inside Out? Anybody? It's a Disney movie. If you have Disney Plus, I'd highly recommend it. Well, I was shown, my girlfriend said, you really got to look at this movie. And I was actually looking at a mirror of myself because I'm really into my emotions, and it's really an emotional movie, but it really goes into the psyche of why we do the things we do. It's just brilliant. It has incredible metaphors. So that's really all I can say. I want you to have your experience, and we all have our experience. So it's just so cool how we're all on this path. And when we get real with ourselves, we're really growing. I really feel like when we get real with, why do I feel the way I feel? That's a good notice. And just recently, for me personally, I've been really going inside, and actually I've been seeing a hypnotherapist, and what we do is we look at the subconscious, and actually she doesn't, I do, because I have the answers inside of me. So it's like not a counselor per se, just somebody to help guide you through the process of discovery. And it's incredible when we really just stick to this work and keep growing with what comes about. And something that I did have a notice on, this may be really silly. Let me see if did I put it somewhere? I'm just seeing if I had it. Anyways, I even ordered off of Amazon 6 Care Bears. They came in a little package. I wish I had it right here. My office is a mess right now because I'm purging, and I'm so excited for spring cleaning. And I really think this is because I'm growing, and the process, like, out with the old way and with the new way of thinking. It's just interesting how everything kind of works together. And thank you all for sharing your heart and your honesty. And I see so much of myself in each and every one of you. And that's not a coincidence, it's a godcidence. And the power is the love and the growth. And there's really a scale about this that I'm learning about. The reason I was talking about Care Bears is I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons in the 80s. And I've always been attracted to rainbows. I love color and design, but I loved the Care Bears, everything about them. So much so that, guys, I literally have a tattoo of a heart on my butt. And it's just, that was years ago, but it's just so, I'm not so obsessed, but it's just so weird how things show up. It's just, there's not a coincidence. So I loved how they all stood together in a line, and they were all different colors. They were all different, yet the same. They had the same power, and it was magic. And it was a rainbow that came out of them to destroy the evil. Right? So it's so interesting. So I came across the Hawkins scale. Has anybody ever heard of David Hawkins at all? David R. Hawkins? Okay. He's definitely a thought thinker, like, incredible. I've been listening to some of his YouTube stuff, and he explains even more in depth that movie Inside Out. So I just wanted to share, like, you guys are in for a treat. So I wanted to share the Hawkins scale. Can you guys see that? Oops.
Not yet. Okay, now we can.
Okay. So there's just this, the power versus force is what he wrote. He also wrote that book, but it's a sliding scale of the rainbow. So, this is literally the power that the Care Bears had, right? And when we all work together as a team, we got this. We actually need each other to keep growing and get better and better. And really, that love for ourselves is the most important way to be up here in enlightenment and peace. Do you guys see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like so this is the consciousness level, and then what we experience. And there's even certain things. I did hear a guy talk about how, you know, how alcohol, everything is energy. Could we all agree that things are vibrating scientifically that we can't even see, right? There's numbers going on. It's just some things we just can't understand, you know, and see. But there's energy in everything. But even alcohol, have you guys heard of liquid courage, right? Alcohol sits right here and it's right under neutral. Isn't that crazy? Like, of course you're gonna have a hangover if you are here too long. It's just interesting, or too much. And then all of these are the scale. Even desire is right under anger. So I don't know, I just love this. And then they have numbers with them. Can you guys see this one?
Yeah, it's a little small. If you can make it bigger, that would be great.
Let me see. Okay. What's that? Is that better? Have you guys ever seen the scale before?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I can't seem to get that over. I'm sorry, but that says expand and control and breathing. This is really breathing. And then even in the Bible, if you're into that sort of thing, which I am, the Alpha and the Omega. I'm sorry, there we go. That's like the God's huge. He's all around this because he really created this. But that's like the prana, you can call it the universe, whatever fits for you in your belief system, because it's all about faith, what you believe. So
what do those numbers represent?
just where they lie on positive. I mean, the more the merrier. 700 plus is enlightenment, and shame is at 20 and 30, and guilt. I know that is where I go, guilt and shame, where I want to avoid, to not build, because I don't have that energy at all, obviously, right? And love is at 500. And I always think now, and like, just again, this is my beliefs that works for me to keep going. I'm a Care Bear, attracting my tribe, and I can even be at 500 and make rainbows come out of my belly. In my heart, really, it's really what, yeah, it was the heart. So they just
So
had,
basically,
like,
you know, to put this all together with what we've been talking about, if you find yourself, say, below 250 on this scale, you're probably in self-deception, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Bree, if you could post that on the business group
Okay.
for everybody,
Bree,
that'd be great.
And can you show me the other screen that you showed
She's
earlier?
gonna post it, Nero,
Okay.
so that you can have the document. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Bree. That kind of pulls it all together, because your emotions and your emotional state will oftentimes dictate which path you go down, whether you go down the path of justification and self-deception, or whether you go into action, right? And so when we're working our business, you want to really stay attached and connected to your vision, and become more and more aware of when you're in self-deception and when you're not. Instead, you're in action. So this has just been some great training for me. I mean, I've done personal growth work for I don't know how long, 20 years probably. And just new awarenesses of how I can be better, how I can improve my identity about myself. Because my identity from when I started in Isogenics is so not where I want to be today, and I'm not there yet, right? I'm not sure we ever arrive, but you know, the process is the journey, right? That's the value. Anybody want to share anything else before we close out the call about self-deception? Nero.
you talked about the process, but when you really look at it, is we will make money, we will make networks, we will have different kind of successes. But at the end, like you said, the process is that who I become, when I reach that point, whether I'm doing networking or whether I'm doing anything else, I can do anything. So through the network itself, to serve people, I have to grow. I had to grow every single day. Bigger the network. Yesterday, I had a talk with one of my team people. What I said to her was, maybe today we are 5 people, but to handle 500 people, if I don't grow, that I will not be able to serve them. So that every single day I had to grow together with the network. So that's the process. So at the end, it's not the money I have made, it's who I have become.
Right. And the beauty of our business is that we get to work in teams. We don't have to do it ourselves, you know? So, and we want to give ourselves grace because none of us are perfect. We are going to experience self-deception. It's just part of humanity. It's just that in our awarenesses, we can become better, right? So, awesome. Well, I just want to thank you all for coming to the call, for contributing, and I want you to have a blessed week. Get the word out there to your customers about free shipping. I just sent off over 300 text messages to former customers, to retail customers, and to existing customers. Some of you may have gotten my text. So you just want to get the word out, let people know what's available to them, especially when we've got a promotion like this. All right, everybody, have a blessed week. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Love you.
Thank you.